Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, July 19. The country's unemployment rate continues to fall, reaching a new record low of 7.8% for the April assessment period. The figure is 2 percentage points lower than the corresponding period of 2018 and 0.2% lower than the unemployment numbers for January this year. The data was released by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, at its quarterly briefing on Wednesday. Director General Carol Coy says the number of unemployed persons as at April fell by 25,900.
The male unemployment rate declined by 1.8 percentage points to 5.5%, while the female unemployment rate declined by 2.1 percentage points to 10.6%.
In reference to youth unemployment, Ms. Coy says the figure for that age group of 14 to 24 years old fell by 6.4%, coming down to 19.5%. At the same time, the employed labor force increased by 29,900. The labor force now stands at over 1.3 million persons, which is 4,000 more than the 2018 period. Meanwhile, the economy grew by 1.7% for the January to March quarter of this year relative to the corresponding period in 2018. This official figure was also released by Statin at its quarterly briefing on Wednesday.
This increase was due to a 1.8% growth in the services industry and a 1.7% growth in the goods-producing industries.
Statin's Director General says most goods-producing industries grew during the review quarter, with manufacturing being the one exception with a 1.4% decline. The services industries recorded growth in all areas. Hotels and restaurants topped that with a 7.3% growth outturn, resulting from a 13.4% increase in visitor arrivals. Statin has also confirmed that inflation fell by 1% in June.
For the calendar year to date, the inflation rate is 1.4%, the point-to-point is 4.2%, and the fiscal year to date inflation rate was 0.8%.
Approximately 4,000 young people will gain temporary work through the Youth Summer Employment Program, YSEP. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says the program has been further expanded to extend its reach. YSEP started with 2,700 participants and has gradually increased in numbers since its start in 2018.
We should not just look to the political directorate to make recommendations. And following discussions with the senior managers on Monday, we have decided to expand the program to include organizations such as the Jamaica 4-H Club, the student councils, and other organizations that deal with young people. So we are going to be providing an additional 250 jobs to non-political organizations.
Minister McKenzie was speaking at the YSEP 2019 launch ceremony held at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James on Thursday. YSEP participants assist in the areas of data collection, support for administrative processes, and the distribution of critical information to improve service delivery and ensure greater levels of efficiency. Individuals will be employed for 6 weeks, earning between $8,500 and $9,500 per week. YSEP participants are scheduled to participate in orientation sessions on July 22, following which data collection will be undertaken until August 30. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says the country's disaster resilience efforts will be significantly boosted by its upcoming staging of the Western Hemisphere's biggest disaster risk conference. He has called on the island's mayors and the National Disaster Management Team to ensure their full participation at the conference. Jamaica will host the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean 2020, or RP20, from July 8 to 10. It will be held at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. Minister McKenzie says the conference will enhance Jamaica's reputation as the region's leading country on disaster preparation and management.
I'm expecting that our private sector, which have started the discussions already, will not only be a major partner in terms of putting their hands in their pockets, but will also be at the table to participate in the various discussions.
The RP20 Conference is being staged by the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. More than 1,000 delegates representing 10 countries are expected to be in attendance. The Minimum Wage Commission is to engage a public consultation aimed at coming up with recommendations for adjustments to the national minimum wage. Last year, Labour and Social Security Minister Shahini Robinson approved a 12.9% increase in the national minimum wage on the advice of the Commission. It now stands at $7,000 per 40-hour week.
Let me emphasize that the review of the minimum wage is ongoing. Let me remind all of us that national minimum wage is a floor and not a ceiling. It is a social protection mechanism and legally defines the lowest compensation for any Jamaican worker.
Minister Robinson made the remarks recently during her contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament. And finally, also coming out of the sectoral debates, Minister Mike Henry has announced that members of the public will have greater access to government members through a series of community meetings being organized by the Jamaica Information Service. The meetings will be held in partnership with the Social Development Commission. They are intended to create opportunities for citizens to discuss concerns and share ideas with ministers and other government officials.
These meetings will provide a platform for improved communication, better governance outcomes, and facilitate better understanding between the government and its key stakeholders, the people of Jamaica.
Minister Henry, who has oversight for the JIS, also revealed that the entity would be partnering with the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica to produce a series of panel discussions. The talks are to focus on government plans, policies, and programs. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.